Moxie, what do you think? Who do you got? Who do you got here? What's going? I mean, like, is it the brain or is it the bird? Who comes out on top in Twisted Minds and your boy Redbirds? I mean, they had the tornado the other day. Maybe that's going to lead them to the advantage today.
So this is a real, like, a tough one to call because, like I said, these are both contenders teams, but they actually haven't interacted with each other inside the contender sphere because, once again, it's an EMEA contenders team, Twisted Minds, up against an NA contenders team, which is Redbirds. And Redbirds are known for being very adaptation. Very, very smart, very good at figuring out what their opponent's win condition is and working alongside it. And I think that's why we're seeing Moving Fish instead of Gig come through, because Moving Fish does play off tanks. They also have a really nasty Sigma. They can play the Diva, but their Sigma, I think, and potentially even the Ramatra, which is what Custer is going to be looking out for, could potentially make it a lot harder for Twisted Minds' Pharah composition to actually find flight.
So is it fair to say that you agree with Zoe's prediction in Redbirds here versus Twisted Minds, Moxie?
I would say it's fair to say that yes, I do agree that Redbirds are probably going to be the ones to come out on top. I think it's going to be close. I think Twisted Minds, if they can find that initial pressuring point with the Pharah and isolate those targets out from Redbird Esports' backline, given the fact that they did lose one of their sort of staying players. Laya got picked up, obviously, by Valiant, so Deco has had to come through and play the Lucio. We might see a little bit of wrinkle in terms of communication off of that angle, and that's something that if a Pharah composition sees, can just rip apart a team at the seams with.
Yep, and Labda, like you mentioned, in that game, so we're going to see a lot of that Pharah, especially on this round. It's kind of interesting. I feel like we don't see a lot of Pharah here specifically. Now, pretty much pummeling his backline of Visions, already looking for that early dive. Twisted Minds goes for that aggressive engagement, but they're still nice and healthy. Visions gets healed up by Renko to stay alive and have a lot of that peel, while Twisted Minds, they try to rotate towards that point. Redbird's just taking their time, allowing Visions to set up on this backline, but when you do that, that also gives Labda that first shot that he so desperately needs. However, Moving Fish, they pick off Labda on the opposite side. Lamp, however, is committed from Redbird, so not a lot of cooldowns here to actually commit on to Nutella, who got that resurrect to give Twisted Minds that advantage, and they'll get that first fight win and the first fight cap.
Yeah, Graffin on the Sombra isn't actually going for the hacks to land onto KSA. Twice we saw the hacks go out onto Labda on the Pharah. And while yes, it does mean that the Pharah's movement is a little bit downplayed, it still doesn't deny the mercy to just allow the Pharah to two-tap. And that's what caused Redbird Esports the problems that they had. They all pushed themselves into that side room trying to play away from this Tracer, and as a result, they played right into the Pharah spam. Lamp already going to be forced out super early on, and that just opens the floodgates. Here comes the pharmacy. Yeah,
that damage already on the Vision. Slay with the fall through onto Renko. And, you know, this is something we haven't talked about either with Redbirds, Moxie. They haven't played against a Pharah team like Twisted Minds in North American contenders.
Yeah, because we don't typically tend to see Pharah teams in NA contenders. It is something that teams really do go up against in EMEA to the point that they will actually contract players to be able to come in and play things like the Diva when they're going up against either Twisted Minds or O1 Esports. They will change their entire composition when they go up against these two teams, and Redbird Esports are trying to change once again to counter this Pharah. The Sombra, though, that with the EMP, still not getting the hack to connect onto Lava, who with that nano boost wants to set into motion this barrage. There's defense strategy for Moving Fish, but it comes in too late to say Vision, and immediately afterwards you're out of Matrix. It still allows you to pick up Renko.
They just can't kill him. I mean, you just can't take care of Lab. That does get that boop off the map on Moving Fish to 75%. They look a bit lost here, is it fair to say, for Redbirds, Moxie?
A little bit at the moment, but again, like you said, this is a team that aren't used to playing up against a Pharah team. This is a team that aren't used to playing up against the pacing that Twisted Minds have as well. When they see a movement, they immediately move in to punish it. As there it is, UB trying to push in with that pulse bomb, does go into the defense matrix and Moving Fish. This is an opening for Redbird, and they are able to catch out KSA before they're able to get back into the mech as well. This should be Redbird Esports winning the fight. This is the true test now. It's going to be Twisted Minds picking up 99%, so if they win a single fight, they are going to be able to walk away with this map. But Redbird Esports are in the driving seat now. They have the high ground, they have control of the spaces, and Labda is going to be a lot more vulnerable getting him into motion now that Redbird Esports can already set Vision up.
Yeah, but he's getting those snipes off from that top side angle. Kind of pushes Visions back into this room with the pillar to avoid those Pharah shots. Window dropped from the side of Redbirds. They get KSA's mech because of it. That backline pressure from Grafin continually on KSA the entire time. KSA opting to keep playing to get his mech back here, but he's surely to get dove on as he tried to remech. He actually gets it. He somehow gets the mech back. Pulse Bomb comes out from UB, forces that lamp. Moving Fish loses mech, has to use Deep Bomb. Will they go down here? No, it looks like they get the mech back, but the high noon to zone for Moving Fish there somehow. Wait, how did he just get the high noon onto Lambda through the top angle and the follow-up damage onto Slay? Redbirds, like you mentioned, Moxie, they're in the driver's seat and they're going fast.
It's that change as well. Redbird Esports, they stop hacking out Labda on the Pharah and they go for the mech onto KSA. It's very similar to what Houston tried to do. Deny the resources that set this Pharah composition up so that you can then deal with the Pharah when there's no team to be able to peel for it. Because if the D.Va is gone, there's nothing to defense Matrix the 2-tap coming out from Vision.
Yep, now that nano comes up in Visions. Can he deal with it? The beat drop gives him that positioning to go aggressive. Meanwhile, EMP came through hot, but here comes that barrage, but the lamp saves him. Ring Fish gets rid of him though in the sky. The Resurrect in the sky from a Valkyrie Mercy as well. He has to back up because of what Redbirds has popped, but Renko gonna build up towards that ultimate. Now 88% for Redbirds. They're still in a solid position. 90% now. Twisted Minds, they're opting to play back here, Moxie.
They have to. KSA doesn't have mech back yet, and the hack is going to make sure that he doesn't get to go back into it for a little bit longer as well. He's still hacked out. He still can't get into the mech, and there's the target focus. The D.Va is gone. Nutella can't separate away from Lambda to go for the resurrection because then the Pharah is vulnerable, and it's contenders. It was going to happen. No one touched the point.
Yeah, like you mentioned, they couldn't, right? It was a hard position for Twisted Minds to actually get to re-engage with that Pharah comp. We always talk about like the drawbacks of playing that Pharah comp, but the recontests are always so hard. I mean, you called it out. It's just, it's always difficult for most Pharah teams, but you wouldn't think for Twisted Minds they would struggle as much as they did.
Yeah, again, like I said, the big turning point in this entire match is Grafin just hacking KSA rather than Lambda. Like, he just immediately denies that mech callback as well. So for KSA, because he'd started to call the mech back in, he has to build that ult charge all the way back up, and that's something that Redbirds are not going to allow to happen again. Twisted Minds, unfortunately, also get dealt a really rough hand. They don't get Icebreaker to come up. Instead, we go to sub-level, which is called sub-level for a reason. We're underground, and that means that the Pharah is going to have an even harder time.
Yeah, it's funny because you can see Lambda just continually bonk his head against the ceiling. Grafin back here with the hack, like mentioned, looking for that D.Va a lot of these times, but actually sees Nutella and the Pharah is kind of AFK. We've seen Grafin, you know, in EMBA himself, played for the Ultimates previously, so knows what Twisted Minds is all about. Looks for the hack on UB on the point just to pressure him out potentially, but the pocket is there, so UB not really scared, doesn't really have to use that recall. In fact, forces Grafin's translocator back towards their health pack, giving Twisted Minds the point first.
Yeah, no one from Redbird Esports walks towards that far because they don't want to go down to that 2-tap. Lamp actually is going to come out from Redbird Esports as they got the hack onto Nutella. They're trying to use that lamp to go aggressively after this Mercy. Doesn't quite happen, and Nutella will still be alive playing from the back of this point. Slay's going to have that nano boost to give to Lambda as well. You can see him just waiting. There it is. There's the Pharah. They've already pinned down Renko and Vision's location. Renko isn't going to be able to save the Cassidy. He's immediately swept under the rug. And Nutella now is going to be oh so safe to make sure that Redbird Esports are just corralled into the small room so that Yubi can go in on Tracer.
That was a nice immortality build from Renko, but unfortunately 2 supports is not greater than 1 Tracer in the situation. The damage boost coming through from Nutella, pocketing UB on this front line as well, and Redbird's stuck in a similar situation to where they were before and also had to deal with a staggering baby D.Va.
Grafin is going to have EMP as well. There should be a fight win on paper for Redbird Esports, right? They don't have to tick any of the boxes. There's no Lucio that can immediately save the team of Twisted Minds if the EMP doesn't connect. Likewise, there's no Zenyatta or Kiriko to be able to cleanse it off. The problem is that Twisted Minds are playing split.
Yeah, and what the heck? Lebda just killed Visions from spawn. I mean, Mox, we've seen him do it before, where he just gets these snipe kills.
This angle is cruel. This angle is so horrible for squishy DPSs because you put yourself into taking poke damage from the Pharah. And if you can't move fast enough from the poke when it comes on through, if you're waiting for your healers to respawn, you don't want to waste a lamp on a respawn save, because you know you have to hold on to it for when the barrage comes through.
They're just hovering above. Grathan EMP connects on the Levda. Vision with the follow-up damage on to both Nutella and Levda through the window of Renko. So nice ultimate, nice follow-up through damage onto the side of Twisted Minds, who won't even use KSA's Diva Bomb. Just going to stagger at this point to 99 and try to recontest again.
Yeah, Vision doing exactly what BAP recommends you do. Shoot through the very shiny window, and it allows them to pick up those squishies from Twisted Minds. And now, again, we're going to find Twisted Minds in that really rough spot. They've got a barrage, they've got a nano boost. Maybe with the nano boost, they've got the damage reduction and sustainability to keep Lambda up long enough to be able to use it. But Vision can just sit back with the Deadeye and wait for the Pharah to reveal themselves.
There's the High Noon. Sleep Dart comes out to try to give Slay that extra follow-through onto LBD Barrage now with the Nano Boost. Can he find the kill? Yes, he gets Vision with a little bit of splash damage onto the backside. Meanwhile, Moving Fish loses Mech and the Pulse Bomb to follow up, and they flip the point back for Twisted Minds. Redbirds don't have a lot of pressure towards this point. It's looking like it's going to go to 1-1. We'll be going to a round number 3, unless Redbirds, they don't actually manage to get the kills fast enough on Twisted Minds this side to get rid of Deco. Also, Grathan goes down too. So that's 2 supports out of the picture, and we're going to round number 3.
Redbird Esports hinged so much of their hopes in that last push on the Deadeye, because KSA still has self-destruct. That's why we don't see the lamp come through from Renko. They sacrifice the Cassidy, hoping that if they save the lamp when the Diva Bomb drops onto that point, they can stall out long enough for Vision to come back out, because the barrage has already come through from Twisted Minds. Doesn't play out like that, and we head to Icebreaker. This is the map that Redbird Esports wanted the least. This is the map on Antarctic Peninsula where Pharah is at its strongest, and Twisted Minds are very, very happy that they get to see this map pop up at all.
Yeah, it's interesting that they even won that last round, like you mentioned, Moxie. It's such a tough map for Lambda to get that damage, but it seems like both teams playing similar compositions yet again. Rolling out his Twisted Minds towards this this high ground angle, whereas Redbird's Moxie, it looks like they're taking the coast.
They have to take the coast. Twisted Minds are going to have that entire rooftop over the point to play Lambda, not just out of angles from Vision, but to be able to slide along that rooftop and conserve rocket fuel. The problem, however, is that Redbird Esports, by playing coast, put themselves at risk of being concussed off the side.
They get that kill actually on the Visions, even though avoiding that pressure. Originally, Yubi has that follow-up damage on the Tracer. Deco does get KSA on the opposite side, but he goes down to Lambda 2. Nutella loses their life as well. And nice follow-up shots from Lambda. Is that a 4K for him in that fight?
Yeah, Redbirds, they prioritize that long off angle because they think that's where Vision is going to have the best sight onto Lambda. And it is true. It is where you want to set your casting up if you're going up against a Pharah who's vying for initial control of that point. But now that opportunity, it's off the table. Graphin on the Sombra is just giving all of the intel on Twisted Minds location so that they know where the Pharah is playing from. And Redbird Esports once again take the longer angle. A little bit of sacrifice in terms of time bank, but a lot of reward in terms of value if they're able to deal with the farm.
There's the hack from Grathan onto point. KSA decides to go forward with UB with that pulse bomb, but Lambda is the one to get on Renko early, so that's a nice pick for Twisted Minds, and they can't. Moving Fish cannot deal with Lambda in the sky, so Lambda just going to keep playing above the high ground. Has that pocket, gets Vision as well. Follow-up damage on the Deco, and that's a reset again for Redbirds.
It's a double-edged sword. You go for that long-distance rotation so that the Cassie can try and deal with the Pharah, but it allows the Pharah to have more time to set those rockets up and look for a pick if your rotation isn't clean. And Moving Fish, because they're on the Diva, Defense Matrix has holes, it has downtime. And as a result, Twisted Minds, as long as they just keep applying and picking apart that little bit of pressure onto the backline, sooner rather than later, Lambda's going to be able to walk away with a kill. And we're heading towards final fight territory. Barrage is going to be there. Graffin's just waiting with this EMP to try and pick apart a member of Twisted Minds. I'd honestly just see them invest it onto KSA so that they can't Defense Matrix the barrage. But here's the Nano, there's the EMP.
But doesn't matter.
Denied, but they still lose the Sombra.
It doesn't matter. I mean, the damage from Lambda, but Vision does trade it back. The Valkyrie in the sky gives him the resurrect midair. High Noon comes out, but no value from Visions, and actually he goes to Lambda again. And look how bad they want to get rid of Lambda, but they just can't. They keep diving on him so hard. Diva Bomb now aggressively into the room. What is it? Does get KSA. Okay, so they do get one. Grafton towards this point, but there's nobody else to be able to touch. You're going to have this Diva and a Lucio. I mean, what more can you do here? It doesn't look like too much because Yubi has that follow-up damage. No more Diva Bomb for moving fish, so they decide to just run around this point, try to stagger things through, but it's looking... Well, Vision does get Yubi, though, and he's back here on this point. Can he get another one? No, he cannot. The follow-up damage for Twisted Minds is there, and they're going to win map number 1.
This is a Nutella appreciation club right now, Dustin. I'm sure as a fellow support main, like, you can appreciate what we've been seeing Nutella do in terms of those reses, because honestly, twice now we've seen Nutella get resurrections on when Lambda has gone down. Lambda has been playing on spaces that when you actually die, it counts as a ledge. So the Mercy doesn't have to sacrifice Guardian Angel to be able to sneakily res that Pharah and then wait the 3 seconds and boost back into the sky. That's the adaptation that we're seeing coming through from this team. Now that they know if Nutella has to use that Guardian Angel, they're going to be vulnerable, they're going to be a target. And immediately it allowed that Pharmacy to stay up and alive a lot stronger, because when the Pharah went down, it didn't sign the Mercy's death warrant.
Fantastic job from Nutella and the side of Twisted Minds. And we'll be going to that number 2, guys, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back between Redbird Esports and Twisted Minds. We'll see who will get that victory. Will be Redbirds here, or is it going to be Twisted Minds to bring it to 1-1? See you in a bit. Well, welcome back to the Pro-Am, and we have this matchup between Redbirds and Twisted Minds, Moxie. It's been a fantastic series so far. Redbirds actually are the ones, or Twisted Minds are the ones to come out first on that map number 1 when they won in spots where it was a bit surprising. But you know what is surprising as well? That certain star player in Lambda. I mean, he's been popping the heck off.
I mean, Pharah stocks are definitely soaring right now because Lambda has pulled off not one flatter deadlift, but 2. It's his second flatter deadlift of the day, coming in with a whopping 17 final blows. To put that in perspective, Yubi, the tracer for the team, came in with 10. And KSA set at 3. Nutella, obviously, is a Mercy player, unless we were looking at map number 1 against Houston, is sitting at 0.
Yeah, you're never gonna, you know, a lot of people say like streamers and stuff are always the best Pharahs, but actually, you know, what's surprising too is he's getting subbed out. Moxie, he's getting subbed out for Quartz yet again. We've seen this in a previous map as well versus Houston. Now they're gonna do it again. Quartz coming in to play alongside Yubi instead of Lambda.
I mean, look, when you're hitting the weights and the gym for that amount of time in one single day, you gotta rest the wrists, Dustin. You gotta look after yourself. You're looking to put yourself up and be picked up into Overwatch League. You don't want to have to go out of the esports industry before that happens. And I'm sure a lot of people, a lot of teams are going to be looking at Lambda and to some extent Yezen as well in new light after some of the results that we've been seeing coming out from Twisted Mind, showing that Pharah composition might not be here to stay in Overwatch League, but it's definitely putting up a big fight.
Yeah, if you ever need your Pharah specialist, I mean, he's always readily available. And on King's Row, Moxie, I mean, they switched it up before. Twisted Minds opted to run Quartz on sometimes that Ashe and sometimes even the Sombra. Do you think they lock Quartz maybe towards that hit scan roll again, that Cassidy, to keep up this pressure and get that 2-0 victory?
I would expect so. I don't think we're going to see Quartz flying out on something like a Pharah or an Echo anytime soon. My main interest is what the DP, the tank lineup is going to be, right? Redbird Esports, they decided to take us to this map. They took us to King's Row. They obviously have a plan, and it's going to come in the form of Moving Fish rolling out on the Ramatra. But they're not going to be going up against a Pharah. It's going to be instead things like that zone to keep KSA in check, because Twisted Minds, when they've run King's Row in the past, they've ran KSA on Doomfist. He punches in, he creates the space, and then Quartz and Yubi get so much area to be able to play around with because everyone else is distracted with a Doom punching in. If Moving Fish just drops the zone behind the Doomfist, Twisted Minds don't really find that avenue of follow-up that they're looking for.
All right, well, let's see if Twisted Minds can close it out here on Redbirds, where they are playing their match like you mentioned, you know, just continually going to have that pummel towards around the statue side. Moving Fish just already applying that pressure on the Twisted Minds, who KSA is on his own to get towards that space onto the Hanzo. I mean, Hanzo really good on this map, so that's potentially why we saw that swap come through, but both teams still relatively healthy around this backside. Redbird's just kind of playing aggressive the entire time, but that allows Quartz to find these shots, and KSA with the follow-up damage on the pummel, that's already a better start than it was earlier for Quartz.
Yeah, if you think about it, Quartz on this Hanzo is sort of a bigger counter than anything for the Ramatra than it is for the Reinhardt. It's for the same reasons, right? Hanzo with things like the Storm Arrow just breaks through the shield almost instantly. The fact that you can take those off angles and pop up and punish the Rein's lack of verticality. But for the Ram, it's the punishment of when you're in Nemesis form, you do get the damage reduction, but it's not to your back. So if the Hanzo is able to flank around you, that Nemesis form is as good as useless. All you're doing is making yourself a bigger target, but that is a gorgeous May wall. And Renko immediately follows up. They catch Quartz mid-animation off the climb, and without that massive chunk of damage, Twisted Minds don't really have a way of brute forcing through choke.
Yeah, there's a reason why Grathan has been a standout, you know, player in general. First on that Sojourn, now on towards that May and NA, and Twisted Minds, now they have to come back through against Redbirds, who look like they have a foothold, but at the same time, Slay pops that ultimate to give them that engage. It's immediately into that May wall, so they do get disengaged upon, and Redbirds are trying to build ultimates, but KSA's not letting any pop. The Annihilation goes 4 on that backline, and Renko's already down before he can even use an Immortality Field to save his life. Redbirds, knowing this, just opt for this reset and just give KSA a nice little 5K or 4K for him.
No matter what composition teams are running, we are in a meta which is all centered around about resource management. And Twisted Minds saw that Redbird Esports had used not just the main wall, but also the Lucio speed to disengage from the window. And as a result, KSA knows if he immediately hits them with Annihilation, those two toolkits for Redbird Esports to be able to disengage it safely, they're removed. That avenue is open, and Annihilation immediately just opens Twisted Mind's door through that choke, and now they're one fight away from picking up B. They have to worry, though. They have to disengage themselves safely now from Renko's own window, and that mail has been used immediately, and as a result, it is not there to buy yourself the time to disengage from the amp.
Yeah, the final blows from Renko are absolutely impactful for Redbirds, only having to use both that May ultimate and his as well. Twisted Mind on the opposite side, right? They're going to build up towards that 5 ultimate bank, so they're not in a pickle just yet. 3 minutes, 50 seconds left. Redbird Esports, what do they do on this engage or on this on their defense here, Moxie?
It's just going to be about burning time out of Twisted Minds. You're running Vision on the Hanzo. You do have to worry about Quartz, so the same sort of vulnerability is there for both of these teams, which is why we're seeing Redbird Esports being a little bit more hesitant to actively engage because they don't want to lose one of their members to a one-shot. Dragon Strike has been built up with both of these Hanzos after all. You don't have to aggressively peek for the ultimate. As the Blizzard comes through, Yubi throws it in immediately and then goes for the block, so Dragon Strike doesn't catch him out. And Twisted Minds, as a result, they're the ones in control.
Yeah, KSA just doing a good job going aggressive. Beat drop. What? From Deco, it's too late.
Yeah.
You be typing lol in chat for good reason.
That is very much unfortunate. That is a very much mistake on Redbird Esports side. We said that there might be a little bit of wrinkle in terms of communicating, right? The fact that Deco was being brought into this composition so late, that Lyra was picked up to the Valiant so late. It feels like it was one of those moments. It does unfortunately happen for these teams. They're not always perfect. Twisted Minds, however, are going to be feeling pretty happy about the lack of sound barrier because Nutella's still got one of his own. And an Ant Matrix from Slay is going to allow that payload to just keep moving without any contest. Redbirds, without that sustainability of the sound barrier, they can't afford to try and angle check it.
Yeah, Redbird Esports now goes aggressive to try to force Twisted Mind's ult before this car pushes around this corner, but it might be too late. The car's in a great spot, but they lose Yubi. KSA does get grabbed in as well with this Annihilation. The car's still in a good spot, luckily for Twisted Minds, even though they did lose one. Does Redbird Esports, well, they're going to have to stall composition here, Moxie, but, you know, maybe this car's going to be a great spot for Twisted Minds.
Vision is 7% away from Dragon Strike, so he's not even going to really be able to have it to just send it from spawn onto that payload. As a result, he's going to be at risk of putting himself down to the one-shot by Quartz. He's going to have to go for that high ground control too to push Quartz off of that ground that should be his. He's able to find the shot! No way he lands that!
Looking up at the sky, Quartz. Well, you can't really say Lucy in the sky with Quartz, can you? So now Twisted Minds, they're going to back all the way up after a fantastic pick from Vision.
Vision, he hits those. He always finds those openings. There's a reason that Vision is known, reputed as such a prevalent DPS for this roster, and it allows them to be able to claw back that high ground control from Quartz. There's the Ant Matrix from Renko, forces out that second Maywall as well from Yubi, and all this is doing is just pushing Twisted Minds back into potentially being one-tapped by Vision, burning even more into that time bank, and not allowing them to properly set up. Graffin comes in with the setup for the Blizzard. Ant Matrix immediately going to be mitigated from Twisted Mind's side, and Redbird Esports can just push right back through.
Yeah, Redbird has already proven they can get picked without ultimates, so then with ultimates in this position, it's always going to be hard for Twisted Minds here. Right now, they don't have any ultimates, 2 minutes, 15 seconds left. I mean, what's the win condition here now, Moxie, for Twisted Minds? Is it Yubi's May ultimate?
It's got to be the May ultimate, right? We know that Deco is a little bit away from that sound barrier. Yubi is going to have the Blizzard far faster. The problem is that Redbirds are still sitting on 2 other ultimates. Dragon Strike can be used to zone Twisted Minds away, so too can Moving Fish's Annihilation. Already we can see Redbirds, they know the Blizzard is coming. They're backing away. They're giving Twisted Minds that room so that Vision can fall back to the high ground and be unaffected by the ult.
Oh, but Quartz, again, low ground for some reason seems to be the advantage for whatever Hanzo takes that duel. Meanwhile, May ultimate comes out, does freeze Moving Fish, but Moving Fish still gets the kill, has the pocket as well, so lives through an entire May ultimate. However, KSA, Annihilation of his own, is about to come up, could refresh that cooldown onto him, and he's actually going to use the Annihilation just a second here, goes deep onto Renko, finds him, beat drop came through, but did not save Renko's life, who was inside. However, KSA has the entirety of Redbird looking at his face, and they've managed to get rid of the tank player of Twisted Minds, and now Twisted Minds without your tank, without that Ramattra, it's going to be so hard to close out here. They're still trying, however. Is KSA going to eventually come back? Quartz gets the pick onto Deco on the opposite side, but Vision does find the trade back. Slay pops the ultimate, so they want to win this here and now without their tank. It's going to be so hard to do so. However, Redbird, they're not really getting a lot of value right now. They're not getting the follow-up damage onto targets that are staggering. This payload grabs and forced to use a cooldown. May ultimate goes deep into the backline onto Slay, who eventually will get frozen. And Vision over the top side gets the kill. Meanwhile, KSA falls off the dang map to get reset. And now 36 seconds left. Twisted Minds are in a pickle.
They're not running into a blizzard, though. This is the thing. Redbird Esports do not have that blizzard, and Twisted Minds do have a Dragon Strike. We're going to see the Ana now come out from Twisted Minds' side. They want to use these antis, they want to use these sleeps to potentially put players of Redbird Esports into moments of vulnerability that Quartz can then use to find that one-tap potential. But here comes Vision. There's the Sonic. Not able to find one person to see it as Quartz hits Renko. The headshot from the Baptiste immediately denies that sustainability that Redbird Esports are looking to keep on this card. The Vision trades it out. Nutella is gone. There goes your speed. There goes your sustainability to keep yourself sat on this card. Dustin, this is awful for Twisted Minds. They don't really have those fast players that can keep this card in play. It all comes down to Quartz.
It is. Everything's going to come down to Quartz. Beat drop here, though, so it should negate any value. But nice sleep dart onto Moving Fish. Meanwhile, Grathan goes aggressive, finds the backline of Slay, so Quartz going to have to find some match value on Grathan, who comes out of that May form as well, or the ice block. Deco gets rid of KSA as well, and it doesn't look like Quartz can find any more value because Deco's on his face and Moving Fish is zoning the payload. Redbird Esports are going to stop Twisted Minds in this third point.
There's so much to gush about in terms of that defense, and honestly, my favorite moment from Redbird Esports in the entirety of that defense, it's not the headshots to come through from the Hansas. No, it's Moving Fish, because they have the biggest brain play when that blizzard comes through from Twisted Minds. They hit Annihilation. Now, Annihilation is a brilliant ultimate, but it's also a little bit of a tough ultimate to be able to pull off, because if they're stuck inside it, your ultimate is going to go on longer. And Twisted Minds, as a result, don't want to walk into the blizzard and catch that ramp. They don't want to walk into the blizzard onto the backline, where Renko, who isn't in the blizzard, is set up in the back room with an Ant Matrix, healing the Ramattra all the way through it.
Well, now Twisted Minds, they're going to be on the defensive side in Moxie. We know they subbed out Quartz, or they subbed out Lavda as well for Quartz, and we're going to look back at that Vision opening pick onto that Hanzo as well. I mean, these Hanzos really are the most important factor on King's Row. Nice shot on Nutella, who came back up top high ground, but Moxie, I mean, it's these Hanzos making a lot of the plays, but really these Ramatras are creating a ton of space for Vision in Quartz.
Yeah, it really is, again, just like that space that the Ramattra provides you. The fact that Redbird Esports got the access to that high ground, a lot of it was down to momentum picked up, not just from Moving Fish, but also because Ramattra is incredibly vulnerable when his cooldowns are down. A lot of it is down to the backline to be able to keep him in play. The fact that Renko was a big target that Twisted Minds would always seem to go after, was able to position to keep himself out of danger. Now Redbird Esports, they're going to be on the attack. Mayor comes through from Yubi, did isolate Moving Fish, but Vision is able to get into position, wall climb over the fence to make sure that Twisted Minds are pressured and can't actually capitalize on the ramp being isolated, as we get an absolute gorgeous first-person POV of Vision Hanzo tipping Quartz in 2 seconds straight.
Yeah, it still enables Twisted Minds in the situation because they found that early pick, which was surprising, by the way, because they were all so low. And Redbirds, they've regrouped. They're coming in through the main side, actually opting to not take that close angle around the opposite side of the statue. So Vision's gonna see the entire enemy team of Twisted Mind just back up, but Slay uses that immortality field to keep him nice and healthy. But after that is done, Moving Fish is in your face, pummeling you down. And Redbird Esports, they're eventually going to get this first point as Twisted Minds have to reset.
Yeah, Moving Fish, really good zone as well there. Catching on to Yubi, not catching the mate directly, but going for the escape route, which is something we're seeing a lot of Ramatras do. They don't drop the zone directly on a player, they drop it behind them. So when they try and disengage back to that team, they're going to be caught out. And it actually forces Yubi into going forward with the ice block to keep themselves in play a little bit longer. So they're going to take even longer to regroup back with their team. As Twisted Minds are able to find one, as a result, Redbird Esports aren't able to find the full momentum and push the defending team all the way back towards the corner of Bookshop, and that allows Quartz to get into that position to just keep Vision in check, because if the Hanzo pops up and takes down one of these squishies from Twisted Minds, especially if it's Slay with that Ant Matrix, this push is
Wait,
gone.
he just put it on top of the May wall. I don't even know if he meant to do that, but he's just kind of doing it over the top side. Vision's not even using that amplification matrix, finds Quartz, gets rid of Slay as well. And that was such an interesting fight because of UB's ultimate, but they actually, Twisted Minds, besides popping both, Baptiste's ultimates on either side, managed to hold on to some.
They hold on to the Blizzard as well. And that's going to be something that Twisted Minds have to be very wary about, because just as we saw Twisted Minds punish when Redbird Esports used so much utility into disengaging from a simple Ant Matrix, which then ate into the resources that they had available to deal with the next ultimate, Redbird Esports can now do the exact same strategy. And that's something that Twisted Minds know, because they're the ones that cooked it up.
Vision sitting back, has that milk, like you said. Also with the Dragon Strike, goes through to the opposite side. Both Dragon Strikes are popped, no kills, but does force Graffin to use a cooldown. Meanwhile, May ultimate from UB into the backline. Moving Fish is frozen. Lamp comes out to save one, but it's not actually able to save both Moving Fish or Graffin. Fantastic ultimate from UB, standout Tracer player. Also just as good of a May player.
Yeah, really good Blizzard, like you said, keeping an eye on Moving Fish as well. Moving Fish is the one player that a lot of Twisted Minds are very concerned about because of that annihilation, because of that sustainability. When you catch the Ramatra, even in Nemesis form in the Blizzard, it freezes them up, it denies them the damage reduction that the block should provide, and allow Twisted Minds to chunk the Ram down and remove the threat of annihilation. Remove, but only delay it. Annihilation is going to be coming out. KSA does have one of their own. This is where the Mays have all of the power. This is when the walls have to be there to keep these Rams away from teams.
Yeah, nice May ultimate to zone Graffin as well, the lamp force, but can't really save here. And like you mentioned, this May ultimate is just so dang strong. Redbird Esports closing out on this second point, and they look pretty much unstoppable here against Twisted Minds.
Graffin just throwing in that Blizzard, catching onto Twisted Minds. They know that they don't have the Dragon Strike to burn away from it. They know that they don't have a counter Blizzard to try and burn away from it. In KSA does hold on to Annihilation, as Redbird Esports hold on to Annihilation of their own. It's ultimate chicken for both of these Rams. None of them really want to invest the ultimate until they see the other from the second, because as a Ram, if you go for Annihilation second, your one's going to outlast the Ram that used it first. But it means that KSA goes down without using it again.
Yeah, but also, the amplification matrix from Renko is perfect. At the same time, Slay countered with his own and allowed UB to get that pick. Look at those great. Oh my god, almost goes down. Those Hanzo shots got them so low. Meanwhile, Moving Fish has to back up out of here to keep themselves alive. But at the same time, they got that pocket from Renko, doing a great job keeping them healthy. Maybe they want to force Twisted Minds to use some ultimates, but in fact, they go back in with a beat jump of their own. KSA uses the Annihilation, no more Baptiste immortality, but Visions gets Nutella. The May ultimate on the opposite side from UB gets rid of Moving Fish, so it's a tank for Lucio. You'll take that trade any day of the week because KSA is just enabled to do so much work on this front line without anybody to stop him.
Yeah, Redbird Esports, they wait a little bit too long to probably be able to engage into that fight. A lot of it is down to that poke damage, like you said, from Quartz, pushing Moving Fish's health bar down so low that it actually forces Sound Barrier. And that bought Twisted Minds the time to be able to build into that Blizzard and deny Moving Fish from getting the kill onto KSA mid-Annihilation. Now, however, there's the Annihilation from Redbird Esports' side. In Twisted Minds, they didn't have a Blizzard, they didn't have a Dragon Strike, they didn't have Annihilation of their own to peel off of it. Redbird Esports find themselves in the driving seat. They've got the Blizzard, they've got the amplification matrix. Twisted Minds don't have any distance to be able to give up. They have to throw themselves in front of both.
There's that amplification matrix, and Visions again finds the early pick onto KSA through that window, I'm assuming. So that's already one kill. Now May ultimate after that. May forced to use that ice block. Now backing up, but UV gonna get frozen, taken out as well. And Redbird Esports on King's Row looks so much better than they did map 1. The stall is coming out. Quartz finds Nico, but I don't think that'll be enough. KSA has the hard pocket from Slate. Nobody's looking at the support. They do wall him off. KSA's still healthy. Wait, they're here. They're still in this fight. As long as they keep touching, KSA goes down. UV forced to use that May block. And on the top side, Slay's trying to find something, but no. Finally, the Widowmaker out of the spawn. Desperation hours, but it's not enough to stop Redbird Esports. We're tied 1-1.
Oh my goodness. Like I said, so many little micro plays to gush about, especially in that last fight where Graffin comes through with the wall, doesn't use it to wall off the amp matrix and the damage coming through from the players of Twisted Minds coming out of that spawn points, uses it to wall off Yubi's healing on that Mei. So the second he breaks out of that ice block, Lamp's already going to have to be thrown down to keep him in play and keep that payload contested. And from there, they know Lamp's gone, they know the amp's gone, they can just move and categorically take down the members of Twisted Minds one by one by one. This is what we talked about when we said that Redbird Esports are a very scary team in the contender scene. They need one map to sort of download your strategy, how you play, and immediately after that map 2, it's where they come alive.
Yep, and they look so dang good versus Twisted Minds, and that's where we're going to the map 3. Maybe the momentum's in their side, so don't go anywhere. Short break, and we're back with that map number 3. Welcome back, everybody. We are going to Coliseum next between Redbirds and Twisted Minds. Redbird Esports and Twisted Minds. First map win for Twisted Minds. Second map to Redbird Esports, who looked phenomenal, by the way, after Quartz came in to sub for Twisted Minds. Next on Coliseum, Moxie, do Redbird Esports have the advantage, have the edge? Do they have the momentum on their side?
Well, I mean, Twisted Minds apparently think not, because Twisted Minds were going straight into map, and you know what that means, Dustin? No subs. Labda is not going to be coming through from Twisted Minds. Once again, they are going to step away from playing this pharmacy composition and rely more on Quartz, and I think, like, it makes sense on paper. Coliseum is known for being extremely punishing in terms of walking into things like a Sojourn, a Cassidy, a Hanzo if you play too aggressively towards the entrance of No Man's Land in that first initial fight, to the point where we were seeing when this first map released, teams going 2 minutes, 3 minutes without anyone actually dying because no one wanted to make the first move and be too aggressive and go down too early.
Yep. I mean, it's because it's tough. We've seen it before, you know, Outlaws earlier, where it's just like the team that tries to go first against them just continually gets punished. And at this first point, like you mentioned, it's just too hard to close that distance. But between both of these teams, I could see a little bit of mistakes happening potentially for Redbird Esports or Twisted Minds that enable a team to go first.
Ooh, this is something a little bit spicy. Quartz is coming out, not on the Cassidy, but on the Ashe, and this I actually like because you are going to burn out cooldown management, either Graffin's Ice Block or the wall, or even the lamp if the dynamite connects onto too many of the back line.
Okay, let's see if he can find that value, like you mentioned, like no Kariko either to cleanse a lot of that dynamite pressure. Now, of course, just looking for that damage like you mentioned before. Robot about to unlock in a little bit less than a second. Redbird Esports is the first one to take it, but Twisted Minds want to take this counter fight. May walk committed from Graffin towards that backline. It forces Slay's Immortality Field. Meanwhile, Pummel from Moving Fish was used as well. No kill just yet on either side. A lot of damage coming through on both teams, but either side is healthy. However, Visions picks off Quartz, who was just about to get healed, and now Twisted Minds, they're in a bit of a pickle here versus Redbird Esports, who take control of that robot first and are the first ones to make the move.
Yeah, Redbird Esports, because they actually pushed Twisted Minds into not being able to allow them to only take one angle, you actually get to see that movement that they take when they start to just take initial control of Clive. Vision and Graffin get a lot more space to be able to freely move and look into the backline of Twisted Minds without just putting themselves right into the center of Quartz's crosshairs. That's the big difference maker. Redbird Esports don't have to play as scared as they were when the fight first began because the dynamite didn't really bait out the cooldowns that it was looking for. Nemesis does come through from Moving Fish. Dynamite does connect. There's the Immortality Field that Twisted Minds have been looking to bait out for so long. The problem is, Ant Matrix is there, but Redbird Esports, they're all inside the building.
Yeah, it's just super unfortunate for Moving Fish there. They had to push that robot the entire time, and the entirety of Redbird Esports were looking for, you know, something else. Vision, by the way, nice little 2K towards the end. That's surely going to impact this next fight, where Redbird Esports, they had 5 ultimates versus Twisted Minds, who used their amplification matrix in the previous one.
What I'm more concerned about is the difference in sound barrier charge. Nutella has 83%, Deco's already got theirs bull. Both Rams do have Annihilation, but only one team, Redbird Esports, have sustainability to be able to sit inside KSAs. Yubi's going to have to sacrifice that Blizzard if they want to try and deal with this Rematra ultimate that comes through, as Redbird Esports decide to start things off. Deadeye through Ant Matrix, and Twisted Minds have to give up Blizzard control.
Yeah, beautiful disengage from Redbird Esports, but they do commit both ultimates, so it makes it even in terms of ult charge. Both of the Ramatras are fighting each other. Quartz does get Renko on the back line. Kinetic grenade over to Lucio, but Bob pumping in that damage onto Visions. He does not like that and disengages out of the fight. Meanwhile, because he is gone, KSA pumps the Annihilation. Redbird Esports have no ultimates either. They do get a consolation prize in Yubi, but Twisted Minds, they're bringing that robot back around. Redbirds are gonna have to disengage or re-engage against it.
Because remember, they started off that fight already having invested Ant Matrix, whereas Redbird Esports started off that fight investing it. Slay is miles ahead in terms of that ultimate charge for Amplification Matrix, and Redbird Esports know this. As a result, they can't really put themselves into putting too much poke damage towards the other team, because if they do, not only do they charge their ultimates, they allow Slay to hit Amp even faster.
KSA taking a bit of poke from that top angle of Vision, but really not going to find too much more out of this unless he could force that immortality from Slay. But Slay pops the amplification matrix on the low ground. Visions cleanses with the health pack, that dynamite. Meanwhile, KSA goes into that backline. Renko goes down whilst that amplification matrix from Slay was still going, and KSA takes care of Wrath, and Twisted Minds take the advantage with the robot now.
See, are we gonna see Renko swap towards the Kiriko? Because again, like this Ashe Dynamite in the neutral is just doing so much, right? We talk about cooldown management, and Quartz hitting these dynamites, forcing Redbird Esports into using those cooldowns before the fight even begins, is doing so much for Twisted Minds. Again, an early dynamite comes through from Quartz. This time doesn't force anything, but it's still delaying Redbird Esports from being able to set up and push Twisted Minds back. They're about to pick up early spawn checkpoint just because of that dynamite.
Fantastic work from Court so far. Twisted Minds are building ultimates too, but Visions has had some impactful zoning high noons as well. Maywall to commit Twisted Minds to hold this push here. Redbird's trying to get through, squeeze through the health pack area, but now they come through the top angle of the bridge, drop onto the robot, steal it. Twisted Minds, they completely disengage. They want to fight somewhere else. In fact, it's here. They drop the bomb early. As long as Moving Fish can live, though, this isn't that bad for Redbird Esports, but he does go down, or they do go down. KSA finds that pummel kill. Quartz with the bomb, gets rid of Denko as well. Renko as well, but Visions finds Yubi. Quartz goes down. Visions over this top side is doinking headshots after headshots. Finds 3. Can he find any more? This might be the best Cassidy play we have ever seen. 4K for Visions, and nobody else here for Twisted Minds. Magnetic grenade, not very skillful, but buddy, we'll take that. Nice job from Vision.
I mean, he also has to take out the lamp first. He goes for the magnet because he doesn't want to have to reload. We can forgive him that. We can forgive him that.
Yeah, you're right.
I think off of that play alone, Vision might just have immediately put himself in passenger seat for MVP. Yubi, however, again, holding on to one of these blizzards, waiting for Redbird Esports to walk into line of sight so that they can drop it and try and split away this team. KSA is just waiting in the wings as well, frothing at the mouth to be able to use that annihilation on all of the members of Redbird Esports stuck within.
All right, let's see if they go aggressive with that ultimate. Yubi, whoa! Nice right click into Ice Block after that. High noon from Visions tries to equalize it. They commit the beat. They want to win this fight, although they're down 1. But a May ultimate connects onto everybody, and Grathen, or Yubi, pretty much carried that fight there for Twisted Minds.
Deco has to use the sound barrier to try and make up for Renko's absence, and as a result, Twisted Minds hard commit. They use the sound barrier knowing that their sustainability is going to outlast Redbird Esports, and they use the Blizzard to keep Redbird Esports in position so they can't disengage once the sound barrier is gone. Smart play from Twisted Minds did cost them 2 ultimates, but now they can throw Bob and the Dynamite in and just keep pushing Redbird Esports to be able to pick up those early checkpoints.
They're not even giving the opportunity to Redbird Esports to set things up. You know, Vision's been doing a great job getting those first bloods for Redbird Esports the entire series, but now, you know, Redbird Esports not able to set up because Twisted Minds with this Ashe, like you mentioned, Moxie, doing too much work.
Yeah, and now, oh no! Vision goes down to the Dynamite because Renko, again, he wants to hold on to Immortality Field. They have to hold on to Immortality Field because Slay's got an Amp Matrix and KSA has got Annihilation. We're back in old school Overwatch. It's not Jake in your house with a Rip Tower, it's Quartz on your push map with Dynamite.
I love it. Oh my god, Quartz again, like you mentioned. I mean, he's just terrifying, ripping through Redbird Esports, but Deco does trade it back. However, the Annihilation committed from Moving Fish 2. Quartz trades back rather than Bob to stop it. Could this actually be the counter? Bob is your tank now. Bob's in your house, not the Dynamite this time. Vision tries to go back towards the spawn door, tries to equalize things. They pop the window, but this is fine for Twisted Minds. They'll take that ultimate trade-off, and Moving Fish Moxie swaps to Doomfist.
KSA is going to have Annihilation. Dynamite does come through to try and secure that high ground, but Vision actually is able to take advantage of Quartz stepping into line of sight for it. KSA gets punched by the Doom and isn't really able to use that Annihilation for the team. They've lost Quartz as well. That's a massive amount of damage, so they don't necessarily want to use it, but the Blizzard comes through from Yubi. The wall actually shuts down Vision's Deadeye, and they decide to use Annihilation here and now. That Cassidy is not going to be there in time to be able to put themselves onto that bot, and instead it falls to Deco to try and touch. There's Vision a little bit late to the party, but the entire team of Twisted Minds are just sitting on bot waiting for him.
Wait, but KSA trying to finish Fish out on this payload cannot. Nice job. You called it earlier with Renko swapping over. Like, Quartz is still getting that kill on the Fish. Quartz is still back in this fight. They have a Moira now. Since when is Moira meta in an Overwatch match? But not today. Slay does go down. Almost Mux. That was so close for Twisted Minds.
Yeah, Renko coming back on that Kiriko and being able to use Swift Step to get back into the fight faster, while also using the Suzu to cleanse the Dynamite, but he swaps off of it because, unfortunately, when you're running Ram, you can't have Lucio and Kiriko. Twisted Minds try to run it themselves in the qualifiers, and it wasn't enough sustainability. They were being forced to use the Suzu and the Amp from the Lucio way too soon before a fight even began, and it forces Renko back to the map.
App swap for them on this fight. Redbird Esports have that ultimate advantage, but they only have a minute left. Twisted Minds, they have so much room to work with here. They push forward onto Moving Fish, who has to back up out of there, but does avoid getting walled off by Yubi. Yubi forced the ice block backwards. Pulse Bomb committed from Grathan, gets rid of Slay's Immortality Field. So Grathan has to back up Immortality Field for Redbird Esports committed. KSA gets rid of that from Renko, so no Immortality Field. Beat drop into the backline to Tella goes. Visions gets the kill on Slay before that beat drop can hit. Counter beat from Deco on the opposite side, and Twisted Minds, they're in a weird spot because Visions gets rid of Nutella too and just breaks on through this ice field as well. Now they're gonna get that payload, have that annihilation for next fight. 25 seconds left.
But Quartz has a Bob, and Yubi has a Blizzard, and Slay has an Amp to be able to sit in front of that Bob with. Redbird Esports have so much distance to make up for, and they can't really use both ultimates in this next fight. They have to be restrained because we're about to enter overtime, Dustin. If one of them moves away from that bot before they're able to equalize that distance, this match is done, and Twisted Minds are the winner. Now it's the Amp Matrix, now it's the Bob. KSA comes in and forces Redbird Esports all the way back into Yubi's Blizzard. This is just cleanup on Colosseo as Twisted Minds are about to take them up.
Yeah, somehow KSA lives. Slay goes down to Grathan though, so it's not over just yet. Nice Maywall zones off Redbird Esports, and that might end it right here, right now, for the side of Redbird Esports. Renko goes, Deco as well, and Vision's trying his hardest. I mean, he's done it before. He's been able to clutch. Somehow gets KSA. Wait, Yumi's dead to Grathan. Hold up. 4 HP, Vision. Are you kidding me?
He's going for the health pack. It's gonna be there. He's able to grab it. He's 99% to the Deadeye. Twisted Minds still have one more fight. They send Slay to deal with the Tracer. He finds the pick. Twisted Minds looking for the reinforcements. Have a little bit of time to be able to wait and look for the regroup. KSA comes back on the Diva for the boosters to get back into the fight faster. Graphin has gone down, so no pulse bomb pressure there, which means you can hold on to the Suzu and use the iframe to keep KSA in mech and push on to Moving Fish. Yubi goes down before he's able to take down Vision, and Twisted Minds are able to turn it around. Redbird Esports did so much with Vision trying to find that turnaround, but unfortunately it's the momentum at the beginning of the map that does them in. It's the distance that Twisted Minds are already able to put on the board because of things like the Ash coming through from Quartz with the extra pressure of that Dynamite that allows them to have that time to be able to look for the regroup, look for the composition swap, and make sure that they isolate the members of Redbird Esports out and stop them from being able to claw Colosseo back.
Nice try from Vision in the side of Redbird Esports, but, you know, Twisted Minds come through with that victory on the last map. Quartz also, another storyline, redeems himself after earlier it was hard for him, but at the same time, Twisted Minds, obviously the player of the match for them, is going to be KSA onto that Ramachara and pretty much played all of the tank heroes that he possibly could have. 9.2 thousand damage, hero damage per 10, and only 7 deaths. I mean, what a fantastic player he's been for this team.
It's the flexibility as well for KSA, right? Some of these teams, they have 2 different tank players that they can come in and play things like the main tank and the off tank. KSA, he can play the Ram, he can play the Diva, he can play the Junker Queen, and that's exactly what this composition wants. They don't need a Reinhardt, they don't need a Winston, they just need a tank that can apply even more pressure and set either Labda up on the Pharah or Quartz and Yubi up when they're running things like the Mei and the Ash for those off angles to grab that space and let his DPS get to work.
Yep, and, you know, I'm sure a lot of people are saying rigged because, you know, their boy Labda didn't get player of the match, but obviously only played 1 match there as well. And fantastic work from the side of Twisted Minds and KSA again. You know, we have to mention that he's always that player that's like really close, if not as is at Overwatch League level.
I mean, he was Overwatch League level, and then he dropped back down to contenders, and how lucky we are to have him for as little time, I'm sure, as he's going to be staying at that tier 2. I'm sure he's going to be picked up into tier 1 again very, very shortly after, especially because we just saw that the guy can literally team verse as Ramatra, almost an entire team, and finish things out. And what a map we had for Coliseo. That was just a roller coaster of a ride.
Fun series as always, but we still have more ahead of us, guys. So you have more extra Overwatch matches today, so you're not going to miss the desk segment, and then Lemon and Leg Day coming at you with those casts. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the desk.
Welcome back, friends. This one turned into a real nail biter. It went to distance, map number 3, and could have gone either way. I thoroughly enjoyed what both of those teams brought to the table, and it was great to have a first look at Redbird Esports here as well. So, gentlemen, let's break down all the action. How did Twisted Minds? There's an S. That's right. How did they
April
get the upper
Fools.
hand? Tell me all about it. Just kidding.
Got you. But talking about this match, yeah, we saw Twisted Minds come out and really show textbook play of how you play this Pharah composition. We actually saw Redbirds coming in with Moving Fish on that Diva. They're able actually to take a round, but as we went over to Icebreaker over here, it just kind of falls away from them because this is just such a good Pharah map, and Labda was able to take over that map. But we went over to King's Row and we got the Brawl Mirror, and Danny, you're a new fan of a player. I think Vision, this was really when he started to come alive.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Vision just like before we going into the match, I was talking, hey, watch out for Vision. But this guy, although they did get they did catch the L, Vision was popping off. I think on that Hanzo and on that McCree as well. He was trying so hard to carry the team. It was actually, sorry, Cassidy. It was just. I think definitely Redbird Esports had a very good first showing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I agree. And also, we've been hyping up Quartz for a lot of this tournament, but this is the first time we've really seen it come in, start to have some success. On that Ashe, a pretty unconventional pick in this meta right now, recognizing they're not going to have the dive to be able to get on top of him, and just did so much damage, able to shut Vision down. So, good win for Twisted Minds and Redbirds. I don't think it was a bad first showing as well, as Danny said.
No, this was just the first of many more matches to come since they only just started their group stage. We are now ready to head into a winner's interview, and for this one, we got Slay from Twisted Minds joining us. Slay, congratulations. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Congratulations on getting the win. I'm gonna start this interview off. This was sort of a contenders region match, different regions facing off each other. What was your game plan coming into this match?
Well, we always play Pharah on the Carve map, so we want to play Pharah there, and then the other ones we knew we could win the Brawl map, or like the Brawl Mirror. So we normally play Pharah on the King's Row, but we swapped it up because we knew we could win it, but sadly, we didn't.
It does happen, it does happen. Now, I do wonder, since you're going up against a fellow contenders team, is there more pressure to win when facing off against another contenders team opposed to when you're actually playing against an OWL team?
Well, yeah, since when you're against a contenders team, you have more to lose, in terms of ego. But in terms of like when you play against OWL teams, you have nothing to lose, right? Going from playing against Moving Fish 7 to Fearless, your expectations, it's a whole different thing. You can't expect to win against Fearless, right? Like that's just a really hard matchup. And they're all really great, so it's really hard. I can't hear anything.
Yep.
Hello?
Oh, really?
I can't hear anything. And I can't hear Costa at least.
All right, Costa, what was your question here? Say it, and then we'll tell Slay. Yeah, Slay. So Costa wanted to ask you, like, how do you feel about these OWL teams that you guys faced off?
Well, they're all really great, so it's really hard to play against them, right? Since in EU you can't really get OWL scrims, so it's hard to practice against those kind of players and those kind of comps. In EU it tends to be more of like a rush style, like Ryan compositions, right? And all the OWL teams, they play Monkey Enna, and it's a whole different game, right? When you play against those kind of comps, because your what do you call that? Like, I dropped it. But it's, they are very better at punishing your mistakes, right? So you can't make as many mistakes, and that's why the OWL teams are so hard to play against, especially on the Monkey comps, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But just one quick follow-up on that one. Is it still an enjoyable experience to get that time in against OWL teams?
Well, yeah, of course, it's a lot of fun, right? Playing against Fearless, like Happy,